Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to the Hog Talk podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe in Buzz Radio Networks, where you can hear us on 106.7 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes, and alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall, and we're also brought to you by Bet Online. Continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device today to sign up and get in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. And we go now via the Meadows Lumber hotline and bring in Lang Training Academy. Guys, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. We'll just kick it off with just talk about your start, the beginning, and what your mission is with Lang Academy.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hello, everybody. I'm Coach Gus. I'm Coach Shannon. We're at Lang Training Academy, Lang Thunder LLC. Our mission is just to help the kids in the community. We want to do our absolute best to give them the opportunities to play at the highest level that they have the
Having some technical difficulties with the stream. Adam, do you know much about, you said you had connections with them, with Lang Academy, and talk about the start, to kind of give a brief description of what they do, and while we try to get them back on.
So, they started off, I think, with just like the all-around training for the younger kids around 2015, the skills and whatnot that, I don't think that a lot of schools, here they are back in, a lot of the schools get. Let me.
There we go. Oh, you're good. There we go. You're good. I was just having Adam explain, what the start was while we had y'all on break. But yeah, just talk about your start and what got y'all into Lang Academy.
You started it. This started about 21 years ago. Like Gus, myself, I got a daughter who's a high school coach right now in Oklahoma. I was training a couple of kids. She was 4 years old, actually. And exactly 21 years, actually. Before she was 4 years old, and I was training a couple of kids, and she came down and said, "Dad, look at what I can do." And everything that I had trained those young men, she was doing it better than them. And I said, uh-oh, I got a basketball player on my hands. And dream kind of started birthing from there, started working with my daughter. Next thing I know, I go from 3 kids to 50 kids. I was a recreation director for the Wildlife Fitness Center in Bentonville. And it just kind of took off from there. Up to date now, my daughter's a coach at Westmore High School in Oklahoma City. Gus's daughter is a senior at Springdale High School, and both are doing very well. And so, yeah, our mission is just to help the kids in the community, the Northwest Arkansas community, realize their dreams on and off the court, exactly. On and off the court. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
I came in about 9 years ago. He had girls teams prior, but all his girls graduated, man. And I came in with one girls team, and man, we done turned it into about 10 girls team. You know what I mean? So it's been good, man. I've been locked in with him for about 9 years now. That's where the Thunder come in. Whenever the girls came, we wanted our own identity. The girls wanted their own identity because the boys they was Lang Academy. So when you heard Lang Academy, you thought, oh, it was a bunch of boys. But now when you hear Lang Thunder, you're like, oh, okay, we know, So that's why we got them all up on the wall. These are our seniors on the wall up here. We had 6 seniors this year. 5 of them are going to school to play basketball for free. So I feel like we were pretty successful in that part of it. But yeah, man, it's just all about community, man. It's all about family. Man, we got kids in the gym right now, man, and they're working out right now. Probably looking for us.
Well, I mean, how long did it take you to really, you're talking about one team, one girl into 50, what goes into building an academy and really devoting all your time to it, where you have to really jump in 2 feet and trust in God and trust in yourself. Like, all right, this is what I want to do. Lead me. And now look what you've built.
Yes, absolutely. At first, it starts with a calling. This is really not work for us. We're super passionate about this. God has blessed us to do what we love to do and do it at a high level and help the community. We've had kids over the years do tremendous things, but ultimately what it's about is we're playing basketball, but we're actually trying to teach kids how to be better individuals, better citizens. And so that's the gratification that we get from working with these kids. And basically, we just one big family, And so, we just kept it going from the time we got started up until this point. And like he said, he has 6 seniors, 5 of them are signed, and we've been having success like that for years now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been, it's a daily grind though, man. You gotta have a lot of faith when it comes to this, man. Especially when you don't have, big money donors behind you, and you just out here, you just grinding it out, man. The community sees what we do, and a lot of them they work with us, man. They help us out when we need help, and when they need help, they come to us. So, it's been a grind, it's been a struggle to say the least, but at the same time, it's been beautiful, man. We're grateful for the opportunity to be able to, just reach out and help so many people, man. Not just the kids, man. A lot of the parents even let us know, man, that we're blessings to them, and they hold us in high regards, man, because of what we do for their children, but also, what we do in their lives. So it's bigger than basketball for us, man.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So how does y'all's approach to the daily grind, the coaching? If our viewers, listeners don't know, Gus and I go way back. Former teammates at Northside. So how do you adjust? What we were missing whenever we were in school, growing up playing. Like, what do you do different compared to like when we were younger?
So, man, for me, man, it's just I'm intentional. We try to be intentional with every kid, man. Like, we try to form, relationships before we outside of basketball before we do the basketball relationships, man. We want to get to know our kids. We want to know their parents, and we want them to know us. Just to simplify, man, we keep it real all the time with them. We just keep it real. Like, we're not going to sell you a dream. We're not going to, if you're not the greatest player, we're not going to tell you you're the best in the world. It's just, we just try to be realistic with everybody that comes to us. When it comes down to like putting kids in on certain teams, some kids aren't ready for a certain level. So, we be honest with them, but we also let them know that there's a way that you can get there. It don't start with us, it starts with them. So, we just try to be consistent with them, man. Build more than just a basketball relationship with them, man. We like to know what's going on in school. We like to know what's going on in their own lives if they're willing to share it with us. And we just try to help any way we can. Development
is our focus. Everybody wants to win, and we want to win just like everybody else. But at the end of the day, winning isn't everything. Developing winners is. And so our main focus is, as you develop, winning is a byproduct of proper development. And so that's what we do, as you said, differently than when you guys were there. A lot of times it's all about winning. Throw the development out the window. Just win. Win at all costs. Play whoever, however, just to win. No, our focus is truly on development.
And you brought something up, the difference. We're all pretty much the same age here, and it was either you played AAU, BCI, or you just went into an open gym and pick up over the summer. How much do you think that's evolved, having these academies, having these specialized academies like you have? You're seeing them blow up. How do you think that's helped these kids? Some might not ever even sniff a scholarship, maybe get a D2 scholarship or a JUCO level. Where have you seen the difference in that?
Like you just said, specialize. You use the perfect word, specialize. Nowadays, there's positionless basketball. So back in our day, there was a point guard, there was a shooting guard, there was a big. Now everybody's doing everything, playing every position. And so we try to help with our academy, like I guess most are, to help create an identity. So the difference, it's like I said, not just winning basketball games. What is your identity? What are you known for? And now that basketball is year round, kids are pretty much developing year round. So whatever their particular sport is, volleyball is huge here. Soccer is huge here. You have kids all over that are developing in that particular sport. So we try to help specialize, help them find their identity so that when they walk into a specific realm or place to hoop, they have a name for what they're great at. And I think that's kind of a lost art because everybody's trying to be great at everything. It's really, the game is going to a place where it's individualized. And so these academies are hopefully helping these kids develop because right now, I don't know if you guys noticed, the last 3 NBA player MVPs were all from overseas because the development is different. They get 6 days of practice, 1 day of games. Whereas in, the States, we get several games and maybe 1 day of practice. So the development in these academies are evolving because of that, because there's a lot of underdevelopment going on.
How's some of the scheduling for these teams to play? Because, like, I know y'all played Link, I believe, and some of the other academies out there. Like, how do y'all find other teams to play against? Are y'all in a league?
Yes, we're in the National Post-Grad Conference. It's comprised of 7 states. Adam Doniez, who is at Link here, has been a tremendous help. We played them for the last 6 years. And obviously they have top talent. They have NBA players coming in. And so, yeah, we play in the NPGC National Post-Grad Conference. And like I said, 7 states from Texas to Oklahoma to Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Memphis. So it's growing. It's becoming pretty popular.
And what's the typical season like? Is it a normal basketball season or is this more off-season type summer league type, or is it?
Oh no, it's normal basketball season because not only do we play post-grads, we also play NAIA colleges, JUCOs. So our attempt is to get these kids national exposure, and so playing directly in front of a college coach, it doesn't get any better exposure than that. So we play anywhere upwards of 35 to 45 games a season.
Well, one thing
that's
I want
the
to
prep.
ask.
That's the prep side of it.
Yeah, and okay, so for those who don't know the prep side of it, explain to the casual fan, does that take any away of their eligibility once they leave, say, high school and come play in y'all's league? Does that go against any of the NCAA eligibility?
Not at all. So you got link year, which is appropriately named. You have a link year between the time you graduate high school to the time you want to go to college. So you have a 2-year window, 24 months, I should say, before your clock actually starts. And so a lot of kids who may or may not have the grades, they may need to do something like a credit recovery, those types of things that help them become academically eligible for college. So it's just a in-between time before you get to school that gives you an opportunity to kind of right the ship, if you will. And some guys just believe that they can get better scholarships. So they want to take a year or so to get a greater opportunity.
What are some of the struggles that y'all have had between, let's say, a high school, college, the kids not knowing where to go, or anything that's come along with the way?
Several struggles. I guess the biggest struggle has been understanding if that player is one to be totally committed. you know, because they didn't realize their dream right away. You might not get the effort and the energy that they, you know, need to give to help themselves get the scholarship that they're after. Obviously, a financial backing is also have been a struggle. You know, not all these kids can afford what we do, the places that we travel. And like he said, like Gus said, the community has been tremendous in helping us, you know, with donations and, you know, van rentals, things of that nature. So those have been real struggles. But the struggles, there have been some great moments on top of that. We got a kid right now who's killing it in New Mexico at ENMU. His name is Ja'Cory Ely. He's probably one of the top Division II players in the country. And so all those struggles were worth it, actually.
And when you talk about, you were bringing up the overseas things in here in America, and you're talking about the difficulties. Another thing that I was thinking of, my niece plays travel volleyball, and there's one girl that she plays basketball on Saturdays, and then she joins them for volleyball on Sundays. You know, how do you adjust to the fatigue of these kids playing every single sport every weekend and potentially getting burned out?
Did it cut out?
We actually suggest, I don't know if you guys can hear me, we suggest for all our kids to take a day completely off. That is so important for recovery, healing. But like I said, because things are the way they are now as far as year-round development, everybody's trying not to get left behind. Everybody's trying to grind. Everybody's trying to make sure that they measure up, if you will. So we absolutely encourage our players to take, if God had to rest, I'm sure that we need to rest as well. So we encourage our players to do that. But the way things are today, so many people are trying to get ahead, trying to get an edge, so some don't take that day of rest. And I absolutely think it's important to do so.
So what is up next for y'all? You're talking about you play a normal basketball season. Where are y'all at in your season right now? And who are some of your kids that, in this year that we could be looking forward to probably seeing Division I or Division II on down the road?
Right now, we have my nephew. His name is Everett Lane. We have a kid that's right out of Bentonville. The thing that I love about being here is that we get a lot of local products. So we have a Zion Sanders who played at Springdale High School, Aiden that played at Bentonville High School. And so those are some of the guys that you could be looking forward to seeing in the very near future, potentially getting scholarships to further their basketball and academic careers.
Another thing I wanted to chime in right quick before we go, we're talking about the evolution of social media. We had our guys from Next Up Sports on a couple of weeks ago, and they go to the smaller schools. And some of these schools that you would never see a camera crew at or an Instagram channel at. How much do you think that helps kids like maybe at a Peerage or West Fork, Elkins, kids that not go to Bentonville or Fayetteville or Springdale or Rogers? How much do you think this influenced them be able to come to an academy like yours that they're not only going to get some AAU shine, but yet there might be somebody who sees them on social media that now wants to give them a scholarship or even a tryout?
Oh man, I think social media is tremendous for this, for now, because we didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like you had to go out there, or somebody had to put a bug in the coach's ear for them to come see you, something like that, man. It wasn't so mainstream. Now, man, it's what a lot of kids fail to realize. There are a lot of scholarships out there outside of just Division I, Division II. It's a lot of college money to be had and given away. And, man, a lot of them just got to reach out, reach out to these colleges that they're interested in, man. A lot of these college coaches we talk to now is like, look, the social media can be an overload because there's so many highlights. so many highlights. I can't see them all. And if they're so long, I'm not going to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be something to pop. But, man, I tell all my kids now, you know, don't depend on me to get you a scholarship. You know, I'll do my job. I'll reach out to coaches. But these coaches, these colleges, they want to know that you're interested in them. So the social media helps because they can just go straight to it. But I mean, they gotta reach out and send emails, send messages on Twitter. You know, hey, I'm interested in your college. You know, go visit the college. Request information about the college. You know, and then the social media will play a major role in it because they can just go to it and see it. You know what I mean? But I think social media is great for this. You know, it might not be great for the youngsters because of all this anxiety and all these things that goes on. Oh, I need to be like them. I want to play like them. I'm not as good as them, but it's helpful in a sense of getting them out there, especially for them small schools. And speaking of a small school, we have a ninth grader, a freshman. Her name is Jason Hoskins. She's a ninth grader. She goes to Deer, Arkansas, Deer High School. And
The Antlers.
I know they're not getting any media coverage, but if they were, man, this girl is putting up. She had a game where she had 26 points, 20 rebounds. She's had 30 points or more, I think 4 or 5 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's doing this as a freshman. So, you know, social media is really good for her because she's on Facebook, Instagram. You know, they have pages where she's getting to push it out there. So the community is seeing it. But like I tell her, you still have to reach out to those coaches, to those colleges, because it's on social media and you're doing well, but you know, it's a lot of kids out here that can put up a lot of points, that can do a lot of things. So you got to show your interest and show that, you know, how you're different.
Well, as we wrap up here, Gus, I just want to give you a shout because, you know, we've known each other for a long time. I've watched you from the sidelines, and, you know, I just want to applaud you for everything you've gone through in life and where you're at now, the family man that you are. I mean, out of all the people that, you know, you and I know mutually, I mean, you haven't let anything hold you back, and I just want to applaud you for that.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. You know, we grow up and we learn life, man. We live life and learn life, man. And you know, everything that I've been through, it was necessary. Even if, you know, sometimes I think it was unnecessary, but it was necessary because I wouldn't be who I am. You know, you wouldn't say that to me and it'd be meaningful had I not went through everything I went through, man. So, man, I really appreciate you because, man, you know, bro, you know, a lot of people will judge you the wrong way, man, and see what you do. I mean, and hate because, oh, he's done this, he's done that. But man, it's been a lot of support, a lot of good people like yourself, Adam, that, you know, really encourages me and really let me know that, man, you're doing the right thing, man. So I really appreciate you.
Well, before we wrap up, guys, tell us where your facility's at, where they can find you. If anybody out there is watching their kid or nephew, niece is interested in joining up for lessons, talk about what you offer and where they can find you at.
All right, well, we're in Springdale, man. We're off of, man, I give you the address. It's 2231 North Lowell Road, Suite C2, here in Springdale, man. Man, we're here 7 days a week. You can always go to the website, LaneThunderBasketball.com. Has all our booking information, phone numbers, whatever you may need. If you have questions, you can always call. We answer the phone often, a lot. You know, we don't miss too many calls. You can send messages through the website, and we get back to you pretty quick. Man, we're easy to find, man. We're easy to find. Anything Lane, you type in Lane basketball, you'll pull us right up, man. And a lot of people know us. We've been dealing with, man, pretty much every city around here, even the small towns. Like, we have people from everywhere, Eastern Oklahoma and everything. So, you know, we even come down. We got players out of Fort Smith. So it's been pretty good, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming on, guys. I'll definitely have to come up and check out the facilities and get a look around and see some of your talent. Adam and I both are big basketball fans, baller fans, women's sports advocates. I've been following women's athletics since the mid-90s, you know, so we love to really appreciate everything y'all have done. And again, good luck to the rest of your season. Good luck to y'all in the future. And we really appreciate y'all coming on.
Hey, for sure, man. We appreciate it too, man. And we do have kindergarten through sixth grade tryouts this Saturday for anybody, the youngsters that's looking. Our junior high and high school age tryouts, they'll come a little later. We're waiting on the season to end. And our season start in March. You know, we're part of the Blue Star League for the girls. And this year, that's USJN. We played in the Nike TLC tournament in Chicago. This banner right here, my team won the league last year. We won our league last year out there, man. We go, I think 13-0, won the league. So yeah, man, we don't really recruit. I'm not gonna lie to you. We don't recruit. If people come to us, they're interested. We do bring you in. We'll bring you in. And we always looking for top talent, but we haven't been recruiting, man. We just we develop, man. What we get is what we get, and we develop that.
All right. Well,
thank you. We appreciate y'all having us on for sure.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, y'all.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Appreciate it.
All right. Good evening.
That was Lang Academy. Adam, and again, you having that personal connection and stuff, I know it means a lot watching somebody, blossom and want to do good for the community. And we're seeing a lot of these travel balls and a lot of these camps, and they're doing it for the money. And then you see people like Lang doing it for passion and the love, and you can tell in their voice and their mission what they're wanting to do. And that's what it's about. You want to develop, but yet anybody can teach anybody to play the game, but to make them better human beings and adults and really get them ready for the real world. You don't see a lot of that anymore.
No, and I mean, back in the day growing up, there weren't options. You had some boys club ball, you had your school ball, you had the travel ball if you were lucky enough or your parents could afford it. But that was it. I mean, there was no other options growing up. So there's a lot of kids who just did not get to play. Yeah. And their futures may have been just a little bit different if they had that person, that coach that could just hand them a ball and see what they could do.
Yeah, and even AAU back then was summer. I mean, you got off. It's pretty much an all-star league of your conference, or if you were nationally, played with the Adidas and the BCI. I know back then they had AAU and BCI back in the late '90s or mid '90s and stuff, but they did third grade all the way up. So I remember my Ozark, the girls team. They pretty much played together from the fifth grade up. They done BCI. So. But wrapping that up, we're going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, we're going to touch on some college football landscape things with this new streaming app that could possibly change the world of when it comes to watching sports, what it can mean for tying in the possibility of college athletes becoming employees of a university. And we'll talk about that more after the break.
Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and the supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials ensure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, most our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together. Are you in need of legal representation? Look no further than the offices of Robertson, Beasley, Shipley, and Robinson. As the oldest law firm in the River Valley, we have been serving our clients for over 100 years, with locations in Ozark, Fort Smith, and Spring. Our experienced team of attorneys provide expert guidance and advocacy in a wide range of legal areas, including personal injury, family law, criminal defense, and more. Trust in our history and experience to the results you deserve. Contact the law offices of Robertson, Beasley, Shipley, and Robinson today at 479-782-8813. That's 479-782-8813. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South First Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company.
And want to welcome you back to the Hog Talk podcast again. Special thanks to Lang Academy for coming on and joining the show. And Adam, I don't know, we had some interesting news the past couple of days when it comes to the landscape of college football. And when it comes to breaking news, it almost seems like college football is trying to compete with how NFL does it, where they're trying to control the whole year of college football sports. NFL's been to how they do the NFL draft and how they do combines and all that. It seems like they want their league to be first and foremost above anything. And you're seeing it now with college athletics. And how much longer are we going to be able to call it college athletics? There's talk of this join with Time Warner and ESPN, which if you don't understand the magnitude of what this will be for just TV in general, but sports specifically, you're pretty much going to be able to get one device, one app, and watch 80 to 90% of all the sports on one app now.
Yeah, I know that they're launching or expected to launch later this year. There's not a name, there's not a price that I can see. I saw that, it's going to be included for the ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Max subscribers. So, they'll just already have it at their leisure, at their linger. But, starting off, it's going to be, I would assume it's going to be, probably have some library to it. Some its own shows that you might not see elsewhere, but you're going to start getting, I think, those games that are all over ESPN Plus already, and those types of places. But now you don't just have just college or whatever else. I mean, you're talking every professional league and college sports as a whole. Now with that, teams or leagues still have, their media deals with cable and satellite. So that's one thing that's still going to be around for the immediate future, but it's something that we're going to have to look at, or they're going to be looking at, but we're going to have to realize it's going to come to a head sooner or later. I know I mentioned to you I guess it was last night, the other night, about this, that, the NBA, their collective bargaining agreement comes up in 2030. And Adam Silver has already said that they're going to be looking at the potential to go to streaming only, which is going to take away your TNT, your NBC, all this. So we're looking at potentially a complete change that's starting with this one app that's coming out.
And you've seen it. Peacock is pretty much CBS, MTV, a lot of, different entities in that. Paramount has, of course, I think Paramount is the one that has CBS.
CBS, yeah.
Paramount has CBS and MTV, Yellowstone. It's Peacock that has the NBC stuff and Bravo stuff. But you're already seeing these things start. And look, I come from the satellite world. That was my last job. The world of satellite television has changed so much in the last 6 months. I was laid off in November. And between November and now, it's changed dramatically. Like I ran into my old boss, and, during a full week when we were in our peak, we had 500, 600 jobs a week. They had 2. And this is an area of Fort Smith in Northwest Arkansas. So you're looking at the amount, and that's 2 weeks out. They had 20 jobs for the next 2 weeks to facilitate. I mean, it's going away. And I was fortunate enough to find a job when I did, and timing, but there's other guys that are all over the country with Dish Network. DirecTV that are satellite technicians than we never thought. But with the fiber coming to the rural connect, that's another thing. You're talking about fiber internet coming to rural Arkansas and rural part of the country that are going to be able to facilitate this.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to be able to watch every single sport on one device. I mean, how much would you be willing to pay for that? Would you put it up there? And I'm not saying the subscription. I'm saying if you bought something like a PlayStation or an Xbox, that's what I see is this one device like a Roku or whoever they sign with. It's going to be one device and you're going to be able to watch everything on.
Well, and I think that's what the unknown at this moment is, right now they're just talking an app, but at some point I feel like you're on that track that there's going to have to be something stronger than a Roku, type device, a Fire, whatever, to be able to basically handle the load that this is going to bring. Because we've already seen, the great powerful Netflix. They had tried, early on, and yeah, I'm throwing myself under a bus here with some of the trash reality dating shows that I watch, but they tried the whole live like reunion show last year, I think it was, maybe, whatever, and it completely bombed because they could not handle doing live. They had never done it before. Of course, they figured it out now, but you're seeing this evolution that is happening, and it's kind of crazy that it's finally, we talked about it for years before it was cutting the cord. And then it was, you had one streaming service. Well, then you had two. Now you've got 15. Now you've got, it just kept going and going and going. Streaming services, I use them for specific things. A lot of it is sports related. So if I could have one login that gets me all of that, I would be glad to pay, honestly, $20 to $30 a month, give or take, because then I could potentially cut off those other services that I'm no longer going to need.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd be willing to pay like for an Xbox or a PlayStation, the device that's able to. I just think with all that stuff available to you and streaming, plus you got to have the internet too, which I have a fiber where I'm at, but it's like that is where we're going, and then it ties into, we see Dartmouth coming out with wanting to unionize. Northwestern tried it back in 2015, 2016. And they didn't get it approved. Well, they had a secret vote last year, I think, and now they're trying to get unionized. Before anybody asked about Arkansas, we looked into it, and it's not eligible for state-run universities, correct?
Correct.
So it's these private schools. So guess what? All this stuff we talk about Vanderbilt and this baseball stuff. If they're able to do this, and it's a private university, there's going to be some serious money that could go into these universities. Look at Notre Dame. We
USC.
keep on USC. Well, I want to bring up Notre Dame because the fact that they have their own TV rights. They have their own logo. So here we are saying join a conference, join a conference, join a conference. They could be playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers, because if they're able to unionize and they're able to do their own thing, become their own entity, it would be like a Longhorn Network on steroids.
I think we're looking at now. A lot of people have made the comments or kind of made the half jokes on, the college being semi-pro, but we're right in the beginnings of it. This is no longer amateur sports. I think we're getting to a point that we're going to see, before it was just the realignment, the super conferences, the this and that was just a glimpse of. Now it's okay. So let's take these Power 4, which is now going to be Power 3 with no Pac-12. However, that's all going to play out. No Pac-12 anymore. You're essentially, I think, those schools are going to separate themselves from the NCAA.
Yeah.
And have their own championship and govern themselves, when basically they don't make it to where they don't have to answer to the NCAA anymore, because these conferences already have their own TV rights and their own. And now we're getting into NILs and we're getting into all this stuff. So they're going to try to take the NCAA out of the equation. Because now look at what the NCAA is doing. I'm not saying that the schools that have been investigated for NIL issues, I don't know how much is actually behind all of that. But at the same time, it's kind of like if this is what the NCAA is going to start doing to school after school after school and just make it a witch hunt, you're going to have the other conferences and the other schools just be like, you know what, we're done.
Yeah. And the thing is like they drop the hammer on these schools and they really go after the ones that it's the piddly stuff, right? Yes, it's still kind of illegal or whatever, but on the grand scale, but yet it takes 5-6 years for Will Wade to lose his job. Bill Self is still coaching at Kansas. We still got all this stuff knowing that's been going on. And now they like, again, I don't know how long it was, that investigation, 3-5 years on Will Wade?
Seemed like it. Seemed
Something like that before he finally got in, because he started losing, and look at Bill Self, it's just, you have things going on and it's pick and choose. And yeah, they're finally going to get tired of it enough to where like, hey, look, everybody's doing it. We can't say that nobody's not doing it, because look, you had a kid that verbally committed, signed his natural letter of intent, and now he's at Texas A&M. You don't think there was anything involved in that? You don't think there was any kind of money? People are, and it's players too. You look at players that might go to Missouri. Hey man, come up here and play. They gave me a bag. They're promising you a bag. If it's happening, that's where it's going. And if you're either going to be like the TV world, you're either going to join up or you're going to be left behind. And I think that analogy lasts because is Arkansas, Missouri, how much was that big donation?
62 million, 50 million went to the stadium renovations and 12 million went directly to the NIL.
Yeah. So how are you, and the thing, let's think about that though. They say 50 million went to this building.
We don't know that.
The church. We know about the building fund at church, but how much of that money is really going to be accounted for? We're like, well, we're going to leave 5 million in the locker room, for players, but you don't know exactly how much money is going into what, but that's where we're headed. And again, it's showing. And this is the thing, that if you don't think the coaches, you don't think drinking, you don't think those recruiters and these people knew that this bag was coming. It's funny. You have one of your best recruiting classes. You get all these players out of Arkansas, and now all of a sudden this anonymous 62 million just comes out of nowhere. You don't think, it's hard not to think that 2 and 2 don't go together on that.
It's one of those things that back in the day, it was, the McDonald's sacks of money, the envelopes of money, the handshake deals, I heard over the years, players coming back from like after a game and there was envelopes of money in the lockers. It was those things that the average person didn't see. They didn't have to see, they didn't have to hear about it. And now that it's front and center because of social media, because everything is, well, to an extent, they try to be transparent with it. It always doesn't work out that way. Now it's getting a backlash from the fans because they're having to sit here and watch it. And it's one of those things that which way do we want it? Do we want it to back to how it used to be that players didn't get paid, even though they still were getting paid? Or do you want it legal? There's just, it's one extreme or the other. But now we're getting to the point too with these recruits. Not only are we talking NILs, monies, whatever, you've got, high school kids that are basically demanding start time or starting position with a team. So before people are quick to blame a coach or a school that, that player that's in state didn't land here for a reason. And yes, I'll use Arkansas as the example. I'm not going to use the player or the team he went to as an example, but there's players that didn't commit to Arkansas because they were not guaranteed a starting position and they were elsewhere. Now, whether that player actually gets to start there is another story, but it's not always because we didn't pay them enough or we couldn't close the deal. No, it's because a lot of these players and these kids are demanding starting roles right off the bat.
And how much of it is it the people that's giving this NIL money, they want that starting role? I'm investing so much money, I want to see him on the court.
Yeah.
I think it's 50-50 because I'm just being honest. Some of these kids probably don't care. They're getting $20,000 to play for this school. I'm sitting on the bench. I'm chilling. I'm getting my money either way. But you made an interesting saying or comment about the fans. Fans don't want to know. They all know it's happening. And as long as it's under the rug or under the bed or in the closet, they're not going to say nothing about it. That's the biggest thing. We all know. Everybody's, you can hold them down and give them a polygraph test. Everybody knew it's been going on. It's been going on for years, but not at our school. You know, I mean, that's the way they say it. So now that it's brought to light, now that the fans see this, now they're okay with it. But the years beforehand, when they know it was going on, they knew everything that was going on. They don't want to say nothing about it. They're like, they're okay with it then. But it's, again, the fact that now that everybody knows about it, now it's an issue. That's the way I think it is when it comes to the fan side of it. It's just righteous fans are saying, oh, well, we can't allow this at this school. It would never happen in Arkansas. Well, you got your coaches and your AD going on a campaign to raise money so they can pay the players. I mean, that's where we're at.
And I mean, how does it look? I mean, just from the, let's take off all the Razorback red colored glasses. But here we are and I'm not knocking the Edge or anything, but we're asking the fans for donations. We're doing hoodies, we're doing shirts, we're doing this, we're doing that. Right. But then
I think it's ridiculous.
Then we've got Missouri that's getting a $62 million donation. But here we are asking for money.
I think it's ridiculous. It's just like when Alyssa Milano was asking for people to pay for her daughter's travel ball team or whatever. You know, I mean, it's you're sitting here taking in money, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Tuition is millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you're asking the common fan who might go to one game in 5 years. You're asking a common fan that pays $200-300 just to be able to take their family to the go. Hey, can you chip in a little bit more? You know, to me, it's rich. It's the fact that when I went to the game, and of course I had to choose a game that was FIU, where I knew the tickets weren't going to be $50 to $60 to $70 a pop. And then, of course, you know, your concessions and driving up there and you're eating twice. And because, you know, it's just everything that goes into it. And you're spending for a family of four, maybe $500 for the trip. That's gas and everything. And that was a game that didn't matter. That was a game where, you know, the season was on the tail end. It was Florida International. And, you know, it's the fact that, one, the product, it's hard to ask when you're 4-8. It's hard to ask when players are leaving and doing this and that, to ask the common fan to chip in. I mean, that is hard for me, because now look, you're having to pay, and this is no knock on any of them. This is just where we're at. Hogs Plus comes out with their thing. They want you to pay $8.99 for exclusive content. Look at all the beat writers. And I know you have to pay for it because I know advertising makes money, you know, but you're asking all of these things, and it's almost like full circle to what we're talking about watching TV. You're paying $5 to Hogs Illustrated. You're paying $6 to Hogs Beat or Hogville. Now you're paying $8.99 to Hogs Plus to watch it. You're getting all this content that you're paying, and then, well, now the university wants you to chip in $50 and they'll throw in a hoodie. Or, hey, if you do this, it's just, I don't know. I'm against it. I think it's just falling on, you know, it's tone deaf to me. And I think the common fan would agree. Now, the rabid fans, the hardcore fans that are willing to do anything for that, hey, spend your money how you want to spend your money. I'm not telling them how to do it. I'm just talking about me as a common person. I'm not going to chip in for something that it's going to cost me $400 or $500 to go watch this game. And of course, pitch in to support this player that, again, might come to this team and then leave the next year, or come to this team and not ever play. I mean, it just all boils into one bag that just, like, they need to do a better, it needs to be a better way of going about doing it.
Yeah. And I think early on, like, you know, when the NIL was announced, nobody knew what was coming, but Arkansas was the first university to basically implement an NIL department so that these players more or less knew how to make these deals, so they didn't get screwed over. So they knew what they were getting into. It wasn't something that they were going to like facilitate the deals. They were just going to educate the players. So here we are as the first university to do this at that time, and yet we're behind the 8 ball on everything else when it comes to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you brag as a whole university that you've raised $1 million for this before it was Edge. This NIL, it was a flagship. When it was flagship, you bragged about this calendar year. We raised over $1 million for these athletes. That's for every athlete, every deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got players at other schools. That's what they're making.
Mm-hmm. I don't knock the players who can get that money by all means.
Get it.
That's the way. That's the landscape. You get your money. I saw the picture going around the other day. It was Carson Beck, Georgia's quarterback, standing in front of a brand new, or maybe not new to him, $270,000, I think either Porsche or Lamborghini. I don't remember what
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And there's people in the comments hating on it, but I'm like, more power to them.
Yeah.
If this is where we're at with it, more power to them. I'm not going to hate on the kid for it.
Utah was getting, their whole teams were getting new rides.
Exactly. Yeah, they had a deal with a car dealership, and all 85 scholarship players received a truck that was like decked out with the Utah logo, whatever, and they just had to turn it back in when they no longer had eligibility with Utah.
Yeah, I think it was a 6-month lease or something like that. I think that would, but yeah, even if it's 6 months, dude, you get a free truck. But I know it's all marketing and stuff like that. Yeah. It's good marketing, but yeah. But look at the big dogs you have, and that's what I think. Another thing that frustrates the thing with where we're at. We're in one of the richest business parts of America. And I know people have given and given and given, and people are saying, well, they're not giving this, but it's still like, you see all these people, these businesses. I don't know if they burnt bridges or what, but it's like some of these businesses, they're not doing for Arkansas that you see other places. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to call out anybody's name, but it is a automobile big name that unless they're doing it under the table, won't hurt anything, but it's like they have big swing, but yet you don't see their name when it comes to helping out with the NIL or coming out but you've got two in Central Arkansas that have contributed, but I haven't heard anything from any of the ones in Northwest Arkansas.
Well, and I know like the big question, obviously everybody asks about is, who's in our backyard in Bentonville. And, I think people need to look at too. It's, I'm not saying obviously there's donations somewhere.
Yeah.
But people need to realize too, there's ties to the University of Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
There's ties to the University of Colorado. Like we're not the only one just because they're in our backyard.
Well, and they own franchises. They own the Broncos, and I believe it's the Is it the Chargers? Do they own the Chargers?
The one of them just bought. Yeah, is the new owner of the Chargers. So you've got the Chargers, you've got the Broncos, you've got. I think one of them's a part of the Nuggets or the the NHL team. I mean, yeah, you've got 4 or 5 teams owned by one of their heirs or spouses of them.
Well, and then if anybody wants to throw a fit, look at Dallas. That's where most of them had lived for a long time, was Dallas. I mean, you can throw that, but then again, it's hard to do that. And then you look all over the stadium, football stadium, see Walmart. You look at Bud Walton Arena, Walton. I mean, the Walton Arts Center. It's hard to, but I'm looking at. There's plenty. You look at JB. They've done stuff. It's the people a tier lower than what you see there that you think could chip in and do something, but you're not seeing it.
And maybe they figure something out. Maybe they don't. I figured that something big may or may not happen whenever the time comes for the football stadium to be renamed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll happen. In my head, it was.
Well, wasn't it supposed to happen like 6 months ago? I mean, somebody.
According to some.
Yeah, I thought it was done. I thought we knew it was.
But all that speculation. It's one of those things that, to me, they should be able to, and granted, I don't know how it all works. I'm not saying that I do, But you would think that, like, okay, like the naming rights are X amount of dollars per year.
Mhm.
And, things aren't supposed to be directly tied from the school to the university. But, hey, why isn't some of that money per year, instead of just being the naming rights, go to the NIL?
Yeah.
Allocate those funds elsewhere. Make it an anonymous donation like some schools get.
Yeah, there we go. That help everything because look, Arkansas is, when you're 13th, 14th in recruiting, but again, it all goes to start. You got to start winning. That's a lot of it. It's inside. You got to work inside out. You got to start winning. You got to start being good in all three sports. You got to start going to significant bowls. You got to try to get in the CFP now that it's 12 teams. You got to continuously make the tournament in the Sweet 16, and all will cure itself. But I think pretty much we've talked about this enough tonight. We will come back at you again on Sunday night. We'll see how all this stuff goes with the Razorbacks this week, and hopefully, have something somewhat positive to talk about when it comes. I know the softball team starts in Florida this week, and we'll discuss how they fared over the weekend on Sunday. But for Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes, brought to you by Bet Online, Sterling Soap and Roastery, and Arkansas Brewing Company. We'll catch you on Sunday.